Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful day it is out here. We're up in Mayville, New York, and there's white all over. But down in Westfield, of course, the birds are chirping, the sun is shining, the daffodils are coming out. It's a different world. You know, that's a slight exaggeration. We have a great guest with us today. We've got JessicaGoodell, better known as Jess, and Jess is going to be talking about her experiences in Iraq. She was in the mortuary services over there, and she was in charge of preparing and sending back the unfortunate people who were killed by the enemy in Iraq. And she's going to tell us a little bit about this wild and unusual experience. She's a Marine, and not in uniform today, but she certainly sounds like a Marine. And she incidentally is the daughter of another Goodell, who you pretty well know, Andy Goodell, who's now our assemblyman up in Albany, whatever it is. I guess it's off in Albany. And he's not here today, but he arrives here regularly and does a show for you and gives up his Saturday morning so you can call in and rant and rave. Okay, we'll be back shortly. We have a lot of television stuff going on, but no, of course they don't follow the wars much because, remember, the television is now owned by the major corporations, which are making huge amounts of money on the wars, and they don't want, they figure if they don't mention it, don't show you anything about it, you'll forget about it, out of sight, out of mind. But it doesn't quite work that way, and we were entertained by divorces and drug addicts and the Hollywood stars that are doing bizarre things, but we don't see much about the real news anymore, and the fact that we're in a hopeless hole debt-wise because of the money they're spending on these wars and other things. It's kind of a mess there, isn't it, guys? Television isn't much to watch anymore. Again, the state is begging off on new taxes because they incidentally gave us 25% tax hike last year, New York State, and now there's going to be new taxes because they still can't balance the budget for some reason. County will probably have new taxes too, but who knows? The county executive says this is a phony budget that they presented, which had no tax increase. Well, it had a tax increase, but it was under the 2% lid, which is a joke because all the legislatures have to do is say, we don't want to go by that, and that's it. They can raise the taxes as much as they want. So much for the state lid on taxes for the county, which is the highest tax county in the United States, Chautauqua County, I might add. Check your papers if you don't believe me. All right, now, at any rate, Edward said that's a phony budget. What they did was put a lot of the expenses, they borrowed eventually because they took a lot of the expenses and said, well, we'll pay those next year. So now there's a huge increase in expenses for next year. Well, let's see what happens. Taxes will go up. We'll not only be the highest taxed county in the United States, it'll be in the world for sure. It might be now, who knows? Good news. That's the good news. Now for the bad news. Whatever. Santa's coming to town. I see he's all over the place. He's in Mayville Fire Department today, which is the 12/03/11. Don't think it's next week when you're watching this show down the road. On the Saturday, the 3rd of December, Santa will be at the Fire Department of Mayville, and he's coming shortly to the Moose in Westfield. I know that, and all around Santa is appearing. He'll be in parades. He'll be everywhere. And if your kids have been good, make sure you give them something nice, but don't go out and spend it. I had a close friend who used to, every Christmas she had a lot of nieces and nephews. She'd wipe out her credit card, max it out, buying Christmas presents for these kids. The next year, she'd be paying it off. She finally got it paid off, and same routine again. Nutsiness. Buy simple little things. Make something. Put something together with your hands. Clothes. The only Christmas present I ever got was clothing when I was a kid. And it might be something from Salvation Army, too, which isn't a bad deal. You go there, you get some virtually new clothing for a fraction of the cost. And, of course, the competition is on now. It's a lot harder to find stuff than it used to be. Okay. As far as Chautauqua County, that's the situation here. Watch for tax raises. We'll have quite a few people on about the county. We especially like the chair of the Chautauqua County Legislature. And let's see, what else I got here? Remember, if you're going to leave your house, which a lot of people do for the weekend, call the police. Yeah, tell them my house is empty. Keep an eye on it, please. Keep the lights on inside it. Lock everything up as tight as you can get, and have a radio blaring or a TV going and something so it looks like somebody's living there. Have somebody pick up all your mail newspapers and so forth and so on. Thank you, Rob Genthner, who is the chief of police over in Westfield. He gave us something. Snow shovel. Have somebody come down and clear your path. So it looks like somebody's living there. That's the whole game. Tuck your valuables away, jewelry and stuff, and where they can find it. Usually a safe deposit vault is the safest place for that. All right. Rob, whenever I'm away, which is frequently, he schedules regular checkups. They go by the house and make sure everything looks okay. That doesn't mean there isn't a team of burglars inside, but at least they pass by and they check it out. And one time the alarm went off. He went in and checked it out. Yeah, the battery died or some darn thing. It went crazy. Lots of things happening, guys. Do call the police if you're leaving for a while. Some local stuff. Now, we have the greatest senior programs and senior activities and the senior trips and all the senior clubs. And I have a couple of notes here. I'm abbreviating a little bit because we do have a great show coming on. I want to give Jessica time to unwind here. And we also have John coming on. He is our editorial wing. First of all, I did want to note that the Dunkirk Federated Seniors meet at a beautiful senior center. Loretta Hemmick is the person who's in charge of it. And in conjunction with our program, a moment of silence was observed for servicemen and women. And I do have another note here somewhere. They sent cards to the wounded heroes in Walter Reed Hospital, which almost closed because it got so bad. All right, Lakeshore Seniors, they meet at the same center, that beautiful Dunkirk Senior Center, and Charlene Hallmark, well-known person in the area, is the president. If you want to get involved, call her. They have a lot of great things going on. Stella Michalak helps out when we have the coffee, which is just terrific, and they're having a big party, a Christmas party, December 14th, and you got to sign up by December 7th. Ooh, that rings a bell. What happened on December 7th? Pearl Harbor. Yeah, we still remember that. Carmel, Mount Carmel Social Club. Carm Tampio does a job over there, and I just wanted to mention they had a great installation banquet, and the following officers are doing the job. They're totally unpaid, but they give and give and give to their not only their center, but the centers give to other factors. Hello there, the Reverend Fibblehorn installed presidents, Tampio, Vice President Dorothy Minieri, Second Vice, Crino, Treasurer Marie Sack, Secretary Thelma Hilliker, and Financial Secretary Jeanette Mulla. They're having the Christmas party. Theirs December 21st at the Colony. How fancy. if you want to get involved, call up, say, I want to join and I want to go to the Christmas party. You can't beat it. And our next meeting is December the 7th, that horrible day. Vito Botticelli will be doing the coffee, Pat Sleminski, and Ann Snyder. So there you go. I'm going to abbreviate this because they're telling me I cannot do a regular full program of news because we have so much to cover. And so right now I have a guy who shoots from the hoof, right from the hip, and he talks about shoots from the hoof. I'm thinking of reindeer, right? There you go. John Hamels.
Good morning, Reed. Good morning, Jess. Randy made me do that, Jeff. Well, good morning. Today I want to read about something that could be monumental to our county, in that every week we talk here about, what's going wrong in our country, what's going wrong in the county level, and all, and not that it's any one particular person's fault, it's the system as a whole. But right here in Chautauqua County, in this part of the county, we've got a situation where people are really kind of like doing it right. And what I'm talking about here is the regional high school concept, and maybe you've been tracking that, Reed, I'm not sure.
Well, I noticed that Kathy Young and a bunch of officials were over at the big school
That's
in
right.
Mayville looking it over.
That's right. Well, what is going on is let me give you a little bit of background on this, because I don't think people really realize this. About 6 years ago, this might seem strange to take credit for this, but I'm going to take credit for a little bit of it. I announced to my school board that I was going to retire. And I gave them 1 year's notice to look into all the options of what Ripley would do. Well, one thing led to another, and our Board of Education extended its hand of friendship to a bunch of districts in our region. And long story short, 3 others decided to come along on board with this project. And we looked at all the possible options of saving money, sharing services, and all those sorts of things. Well, the last one on the docket was a regional high school concept when everything else failed. Well, guess what? Everything else failed. And well, at this point, it's alive and well as far as legislation goes, and it's going to take an act of basically Congress at the state level to get this job done. And I know that Kathy Young and Andy Goodell are supporting this. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you hear about this, learn more about it. And it's time to take our heads out of the sand. It's time to kind of give in a little bit and negotiate with your school boards, because we just can't keep doing business as we have for the last 50 years. Those days are long gone. The monies have dried up. The services are drying up. And you know what? Our kids, for our own future, aren't getting the education that they should be getting, that we're seeing in some of the other schools. The regional high school concept will be bringing in students from all the other schools, not all the schools in the county, but from Brockton, from Westfield and Ripley. That's the plan, and Chautauqua Lake. And those schools will come together and think about all the juices and the resources and all the energy and synergy that could come together in one place, rather than building more buildings and trying to merge. I've been through all that, and it hasn't worked. The legislation is against us and all that sort of thing, because it's very old and antiquated. But I'll just leave you with this. Keep your eye on this one. We've been talking about other topics here at the senior report, but this is the one I'm going to track as well. So the regional high school concept, folks, let's get on board and see what you think about it.
Thank you, John. Incidentally, a minor aside, you know who the most important, most powerful man in New York State after the governor is?
I don't know.
Commissioner of Education.
Oh, correct.
He handles more money, has more power. And he's pushing for this, and with that guy pushing, the governor's pushing, it's going to happen.
Well, the exciting thing about this is this could be the model for the rest of the county.
Well,
we could be a showcase.
Yeah, well, right here, and they built this school here, and there was big opposition to it.
Right.
But hell, it's got to happen. You're right. We haven't got the money to build new buildings.
No,
I mean, that's it. We're out of money, guys. Chautauqua County is bled white, dry, and more taxes coming, more bleeding. How's Doc and Bill doing? Where are they playing?
Doc and Bill, we are playing this week at 21 East in Dunkirk, Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock. It's a little fundraiser that we do for the folks up there. All our tips go to the adult literacy program there. That's off of Washington Street on Road to Route 5.